Anyone can describe the winner at the top of the mountain. They are the ones who made it to the top. These are the men who got what they wanted and lived their lives how they saw fit. Their victories are clear, written in bold letters for the world to see. You can also see who didn't succeed at winning. They are still down in the valley, desperately looking up for screens that show them the so-called high life. These are the men who want to have a chance at making it to that next level, but who are still buried in their burdens, needing to keep trucking at their shit, hypnotized by the flickering screens showing them a life they'll never touch. And they need to pay for the soap they are hypnotized by. Look, my friend, without working for yourself, by yourself selfishly, you cannot be happy. In this life, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to fight your silent war. And that's what this video is about. Your war. A war without guns or blood, but with battles that tear at your soul, enemies that whisper in your mind, and scars that no one will ever see. This isn't just a video, it's a battle plan. What you're about to hear isn't some motivational fluff or recycled advice. These strategies are raw, unapologetic, and ruthless, meant to rip apart the version of you that's been holding you back and rebuild something unstoppable in its place. And by the time this is over, you won't just shock the world, you'll shock yourself. War doesn't always happen on battlefields littered with landmines and bodies. Sometimes war is quieter, invisible, yet just as destructive. It's fought in whispers, not shouts. It's fought in the spaces between who you are and who you're becoming. These are the wars no one talks about but everyone fights. You've heard of wars on drugs, poverty, and pollution. But there's another war, one you're in right now. It's the war against yourself, against the noise of the world, and against the version of you that's too scared to rise. If you don't learn how to fight this silent war, you'll lose before you even begin. In every war, there are strategies, rules to follow, moves to make. But in this war, the strategies aren't about winning others over. They're about breaking what's holding you down, building what will carry you forward, and rising higher than you ever thought possible. Let's get in. Welcome to Be the Glow. We are born free, but the world spends our lives making us slaves to its rules. Some turn up in life's playground, in response to the soul's imperious need for growth and exploration, knowing from the outset that the most important thing is not to be the same as the person next to them, and that the main objective is to follow their own dream. Others, scared off by so much freedom, prefer to go where the crowd goes, survive as best they can, put up with things that don't make sense to them, and end up offering the worst gift of all to this rather special world of ours, their own life. You've been plugged in for too long, haven't you? Wired into a system that doesn't care about you, drowning in a sea of meaningless chatter and numbed by the constant flood of bullshit. It's everywhere. The endless noise that fills your head and makes you believe that this is real life. The majority behave according to what other people say. There are certain things we prefer but will choose not to do, and there are certain things we don't like but will choose to do. We often eat things we don't like and waste money on certain things. We follow many rules set by society. In the end, we leave the world still following certain rules even though they are not in our interests. Certain minorities choose to think for themselves and do as they wish without following the advice of others. As things may also happen over time, people have learned from the past. Society provides some security and sustenance to its members. People pay homage to society after running tirelessly under the life machine they call society, just because it offers them so much. We listen to what others say, but don't realize what we want. We learn how to speak to children but don't learn the truth to tell. We prefer to be gentle to others and hard on ourselves. We've convinced ourselves that we will lose both our lives and those of others. So we try to preserve the lives of others. We say it is modest, humble. The truth is that modesty is living in a lie, and others believing you. We want to be loved more than we genuinely love. That is because we prefer empty love. Life is a choice, and by making that choice, living is also a choice. The moment you start asking questions instead of obeying, you start thinking for yourself. The moment you stop obeying, you start living for yourself. That day is the day you taste independence. If you're ready to explore the deepest questions that can change your life, check out my ebook, Life's Big Questions, 50 Questions to Open Your Mind and See Things Differently. And if you think you've got it all figured out, this book will prove you wrong. You've wasted enough time pretending you don't need answers. So this is your chance to check the description, and I will make sure you never waste another second. Allegedly, I was born when my parents decided that I hadn't been put on Earth for the sole purpose of fixing things around the house, carrying heavy stuff, and hearing lectures about being a real man. They sent me to school. I was sent to school to actually learn something. Rules are meant to be obeyed was the maxim. By the time I got to my teens, I'd become an emotional mass and hadn't learned anything that was worth learning. The system has its rules, and it likes these rules to be followed, providing us with a sense of order. Being helpful sometimes, the system is just a system. It values neither you nor me. It is the way you want to be perceived by it that triggers it to come into contact with you and to bother dealing with your life. Therefore, the system is not or shall not be your aim. Once you take it as your final goal and make every effort to be in its good graces, the path that you are on is only a dead end. Instead, the rebellious route seems to be the right choice. Not until you rebel against the system in your inner territories will you find it easier to deal with. Step out of the box. Smash the box. Leave nothing in your life, your occupation, your lovers, your senses that is a standard size. To win in life is risky business, but do not let the rules grow like a rock and kill you. There's a silent war going on, and it's not fought with guns or armies. It's fought inside you. Every day you're under attack. The enemy? Expectations, opinions, the labels people stick to your back when you're not looking. They think they know you. They decide who you are, what you're worth, what you can or cannot do. Who the hell gave them the right? This war starts early. Maybe it was a teacher who said you weren't smart enough. Maybe it was a so-called friend who laughed at your dreams. Maybe it was family, people who should have had your back but instead handed you doubt and called it love. They built a cage for you out of their words, their judgments, their fucking small-minded ideas. Sorry though, they're not the only ones to blame. You played along, didn't you? You stayed quiet when they talked down to you. You laughed it off when they made you feel small, pretending it didn't hurt. You let them call the shots because what were you supposed to do? Start an argument? Cut them off? It's easier to go with the flow and to let their words slide even when they hit like a punch in the gut. No one's coming to save you from this. You can't wait for them to suddenly get it, to wake up one day and say, you know what, I was wrong about you. That day's not coming. You've got to be the one to stop playing along. I learned that, probably from my brother. He wasn't a bad man, but damn, he knew how to make me feel small. His words were sharp, and he always had this way of reminding me that I wasn't living up to some invisible standard he had in his head. You're too soft, he'd say. Or, you'll never make it if you don't toughen up. For a long time, I believed him. I mean, he's my brother. He's supposed to know me, right? But as I got older, I realized that he didn't see me. He saw what he wanted me to be. That's the thing about people like him. They don't realize the damage they do, and they don't understand that their love comes wrapped in conditions. Big brothers are supposed to guide us, to believe in us, but sometimes they don't know how. And we can't let that hold us back. Their wars aren't ours to fight, because we already have ours, and it's far from over. So, let's move on to the next strategy you need to start winning. We live in a world where people find it easier to talk you out of your dreams than to help you figure out how to brave the inevitable storm to achieve them. It's comfortable for people to tell you what you should and shouldn't do, what you're capable of achieving and what you're not. But I want to talk to the dreamers. I want to talk to the brave souls who have that glimmer in their eyes, a vision that no one else can see. Everyone is capable of being successful, but not everyone is capable of making sacrifices. And when all that separates the dreamers from the sitters and the talkers is sacrifice, the dreamers draw the short straw. Because it's not enough to just dream. You have to do. It's not enough to just want. You have to take. And if you want something bad enough, you'll be met with resistance at every single turn. Life is tough, and if you want to make a dream a reality, it's going to require an ungodly amount of sacrifice. It's going to require sacrifices that no one in your life will understand, sacrifices that everyone will wish you didn't have to make, and sacrifices that are going to make you question who you are and why. It is not personal. It is life and the new reality that you're building for yourself. Familiarity is king, and when you take away someone's familiarity or ease of access, they jump to be judgmental and dismissive. You've got to be ready for it. Every single person has a vision, a passion, and a reason for existing, but they're not prepared to make it a complete reality. So when they see someone who is completely and totally ready to stand face to face with their demons, they'll do everything in their power to hold you back. Don't let it keep you from dreaming big, sacrificing bigger, and leaving the doubters in the dust. Failure is like strong lemonade, sour and hard to swallow, but I believe that it improves you as a person. It increases your intelligence, experience, and confidence. It all comes down to one word: adversity. Whether we're talking about physical or emotional, adversity is like rain. Everyone experiences it, just in different ways. However, how you deal with it and how it shapes your life and your identity is formed completely on your own terms. Experience is the best teacher, and adversity is the most intense form of it. While your life may constantly change like a river, your abilities will as well. The downfall of not learning the skills required to overcome adversity will most likely result in you experiencing it repeatedly until you come to your senses. You're not going to get strong by always passing up challenges and choosing the easy life. If you don't accept the burden of adversity, failure will freeze you in place with fear. The truth is that life is a fantastic education. It is a school that never closes, and graduation is full of pomp, especially if you're able to accept your mistakes and learn from them. If in the end you want to stand up and be a leader, a roadmap will lead you into a deep, dark wilderness. Study the woods, pack the right gear, and be careful. To be successful, make your own luck. It's not handed to you in a neat end-of-year profit and loss statement. People change only when the fear of change is small, and the fear of staying the same is large. Basically, people change only when they can't live with the pain of staying the same. You have to burn the bridge that keeps pulling you back to comfort. You have to burn the bridge to excuses by owning your choices and actions. You have to burn the bridge to distractions by cutting out anything that steals your focus. You have to burn the bridge to validation by forgetting what others think of you. You have to burn the bridge to meaningless connections by walking away in silence. You have to burn the bridge to weakness by embracing the pain that makes you stronger. You have to burn the bridge to old habits by creating a new, unshakable routine. You've burned it all. Now let's go to the next strategy. You have to keep going with your dreams. Don't let someone else tell you that you won't be able to do it. If it's your dream and it burns inside you every day, it's the only thing you have to do. Even if the world labels you as delusional and ridicules you and says it won't be possible, let me tell you the truth. It's only delusional until it works. Then all of a sudden, those same people telling you we're delusional will tell you we're gifted. The world wants you to stay as small as possible and not to shine so bright, because we were told We don't have to surpass the standards. We don't have to follow our dreams, and that everything is impossible. Where would we be now if nobody had fought for their impossible dreams? When you reach your dreams, the world will make you smaller. But in that moment, the one who shouldn't shrink is you. Keep fighting for your dreams. They deserve this. And after you reach that goal, carve a statue of your achievements next to Gandhi, because there's only you who can see the way you surpassed every obstacle up to your goals and kept working hard when everybody was telling you were delusional. Staying up late, pushing through those tough days, making it happen while others sleep, you're on the right path. But let me remind you, success doesn't stop here. The real magic happens when you take the next step. That's where my ebook comes in. It's packed with insights that will help you level up, change your mindset, and keep pushing forward without losing your drive. If you think you're done, trust me, you're just getting started. So keep going. Hit follow, dive into the ebook, and get ready to turn your hustle into real success. This is just the beginning. The rest is in your hands.